Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover on the stream today. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and a lot of exciting stuff. Tucker did an incredible job yesterday exposing Pence and showing Tim Scott for what a loony he is. I talked about it on my last stream, and today, I'll get to in a little bit, but Tucker, he got DeSantis and a big old lie, which we're going to cover in a little bit. But, you know, these never Trumpers and the fake news, corporate-owned, state-controlled media, they spend their days really fantasizing. The MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, the state-controlled media, what they do is they sit around and fantasize of Trump going to prison. I mean, they've been fantasizing this for years and years and years, and they always got some scheme, some racket, and these fake news people over on MSNBC got up early today so they could go to the MSNBC audience and throw some red meat, even though they probably don't eat it, they're a bunch of libs, but throw some red meat to their MSDNC, MS-13 BC audience and make them think that Trump's getting arrested. And, of course, Trump's not getting arrested in the documents case. I'll talk about that in a bit. But I wanted to share this with you. So this is who these people are. Who cares? They're MSNBC fake news anchor and MSNBC fake news contributors with their Trump fantasies. Listen to this.
Actually, something that's a driver for Donald Trump. I want to stay with you for a second, Kurt, though. Trump could conceivably be facing at least 2 more criminal cases soon. We just talked about that with Catherine in Georgia and in Jack Smith's January 6th probe. So, Kurt, can somebody like Donald Trump continue to rely on his inner circle if that inner circle is continuing to testify against him, either voluntarily or otherwise?
Okay. Now, they got someone else that they think of that and I'll get to in a little bit. CNN has more details on this. There is a fake news story out there that Jack Smith has put the screws to someone in Trump's circle who is flipping on Trump on the documents case. So they got this new thing they're fantasizing about. And, you know, I'm here in Florida. I'm in Palm Beach where Mar-a-Lago is. I know the area intimately. I've lived here almost my entire life. This judge that was appointed by President Trump to the federal bench that has this Jack Smith fake document case is a very MAGA judge, and the federal courthouse that this trial is happening in and all these hearings and motions are being taken is in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is in St. Lucie County. This area is the most MAGA community of Florida. And, of course, Florida is the home of MAGA, right? President Trump lives here. Florida is the most MAGA state in the union, but this area where the courthouse is the most MAGA area of all. In fact, the 3 counties that this courthouse covers in Florida, it's St. Lucie County, St. Lucie County, Okeechobee County, Indian River County, and Martin County. These are the most MAGA areas. In fact, this area went 71% for Trump in the last election. Probably go 80, 85 this time. So they got a jury pool that voted 71% Trump to pull from for their jurors. So things aren't going to go too well for them if they get the trial. Jack Smith blew that one.
You know, Kurt, it's not just Chris Christie. We've had Michael Cohen say the same thing.
Oh, yeah, Michael Cohen. There's a voice of credibility. Yeah, a lawyer who breaks lawyer-client confidentiality. I mean, my goodness. Yeah, that Michael Cohen. Why don't they just get Michael Avenatti out there and get Michael Avenatti telling us what he thinks?
You know, Kurt, it's not just Chris Christie. We've had Michael Cohen say the same thing, that the fear of jail is actually something that's a driver for Donald Trump. I want to stay with you for a second, Kurt, though. Trump could conceivably be facing at least 2 more criminal cases soon. We just talked about that with Catherine in Georgia and in Jack Smith's January 6th probe. So, Kurt, can somebody like Donald Trump continue to rely on his inner circle if that inner circle is continuing to testify against him, either voluntarily or otherwise?
I mean, I think that the walls have been closing in on Donald Trump this entire time. The fact that almost every single person who has worked for, served either the campaign or in the White House at some point with Donald Trump, they've ended up having to testify before a grand jury of some kind. Like when you go work for Donald Trump, you better have a lawyer fund set up because you're going to need it. So I don't know how in the midst of a political campaign that we're about to see here unfold for 2024, that Trump has anyone that he can actually really trust when every single person that works with him ends up having to be a corroborating witness to his alleged crimes.
Okay. Kurt, it's not.
So here they go into their fantasy world. By the way, thank you, Bill, for gifting all those memberships to people. Welcome, you new members. Make sure you check out those emojis that members have exclusive access to, and you get your name in a nice green color to stand out in the chat. So welcome to all those new members that Bill Leslie gifted. So the walls are closing in on Trump. The walls are closing in. And I love this warning that if you go and work for President Trump, you better have a lawyer ready because you're going to have to testify and be harassed. So, I mean, this is like targeted harassment and without question a misuse of the justice system, that you're out there saying that if you get a job for Trump, you're going to need a lawyer because Johnny Law is coming after you just because you work with Trump. If that's not misuse of your authority as a federal law enforcement officer, I don't know what is. Could you imagine? You take it away from Trump. Could you imagine if you got a job? Don't take a job at that hardware store down the street because you're going to need a lawyer. We don't like that guy. And we've been trying to get that guy that owns that hardware store for 8 years. So anyone that gets hired, you better get a lawyer because we're coming after you. I mean, I've never heard. This is textbook police state action that's going on here. And not only textbook police state action, corruption at the highest level. And this is one of the reasons they're in such a panic about Trump's return for his second term in 2024, because all these things that are going on, the chickens are coming home to roost. And when President Trump comes in for his second non-consecutive term, he is going to have a mandate beyond imagination. In fact, I think what we're going to find is having 2 terms non-consecutive as opposed to consecutive is going to be better because people are seeing what they're doing. And when he goes and makes these moves against these corrupt public officials from all these different agencies, Justice Department and such, public opinion is going to be on his side. Now, graduate of the CIA Academy here, Anderson Cooper, they're talking about the new source that Jack Smith has put the screws to in the Trump circle.
New York Times reporting that a third person could be facing charges in the documents case. CNN political analyst Maggie Haberman and New York Times senior political correspondent share a byline on that. She's also...
I love it when they... New York Times, that's just who you go to when you want credible stories about Trump. By the way, New York Times, have they retracted and returned those Pulitzers for the fake Russia story yet?
In the documents case. CNN political analyst Maggie Haberman and New York Times senior political correspondent share a byline on that. She's also the author of the best-selling Confidence Man, The Making of Donald Trump, The Breaking of America.
The Breaking of America, Confidence Man, which is another term for con man.
Joins us now. So what do you know about this employee who, according to your reporting, received a target letter from Jack Smith?
This is a low-level employee, Anderson, but it is somebody who was before the federal grand jury in May, and prosecutors have continued to try to drill down on the question of whether anyone interfered with security footage, surveillance footage that the Justice Department was seeking, and whether everything was complied with, and whether statements have all been accurate. And look, we don't know whether this person will be charged or not, but it really does underscore that this investigation did not end with the indictment of Donald Trump and Walt Nauta. This investigation is continuing. We don't know what other turns it may take, but a bunch of subpoenas have been sent in recent weeks for additional documents, and more witnesses have been brought forward.
Do you have a sense of how wide the net is? I mean, how many employees of the former president have been questioned or contacted by the special counsel's office?
It's a lot, and it's a wide range, Anderson, between Trump Organization, Mar-a-Lago specifically, people on his campaign, people from his former White House, people who worked for him at the time. People have been asked questions, going back to how he kept records and his practices. It's a very, very extensive investigation, which we could get a sense of from just the sheer volume of discovery material that was turned over to the defense team. So I anticipate that when it becomes clear how many witnesses we're talking talking about. We know the government has a list of 84 witnesses that they are interested in talking to. We'll see how the Trump team handles it. I think it is going to be surprising to people just how wide this net was.
And is it possible, I mean, do they send a target letter intending to, I mean, that letting them know the person that they may actually be prosecuted, or is it also to possibly encourage somebody to flip?
Look, there's always a hope, I think, for prosecutors that somebody who is facing potential charges could end up cooperating, whether that actually means flipping or not, in an investigation. And so that happens up until the point that there's charges. But when a target letter is sent, it doesn't always result in charges, but it usually means charges. And recall that Donald Trump was sent a target letter before he was indicted by the Justice Department in June.
Okay, so they got somebody they're going to put the screws to. Now, you know, this documents BS at Mar-a-Lago. You know, they keep showing photographs and videos of piles of boxes stacked to the ceiling. And Greg Kelly over on Newsmax a few weeks back had an incredible program on this. I did a live stream on it. If you go back on my channel, you can see it. It's Greg Kelly holding up a box. And Greg Kelly actually went through the indictment that Jack Smith put in, and the documents that they say that he is not allowed to have, which is total BS because of the Presidential Records Act. But Jack Smith's indictment claiming that he has all these classified records and documents that he's not allowed to have are so few documents, it barely fills up half of one of those boxes that we've seen stacked to the ceiling. Those boxes stacked to the ceiling, President Trump has talked about this. He says, that's my stuff. We moved back to Mar-a-Lago. It's got shoes, shirts, newspapers, books, all our personal stuff. And they're giving, and the prosecutor and the fake news media are giving this false impression that the boxes that you see stacked to the ceiling in the bathroom and everywhere, those are all classified documents. And that's just a damn lie. There's one of those boxes, about half of the box are the number of documents that Jack Smith is claiming he can't have. They're trying to make it look like he's got hundreds of boxes and tens of thousands of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, and that is just a complete lie and misrepresentation. Now, if you'd like to call in, please do. I do take live calls here on my live streams, and it's the same number that I use during the week at 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. But what we're going to find with this document case, once it gets in front of the judge and things really start moving, there's a very good chance that this judge tosses the whole thing out because of the Presidential Records Act. And remember, when President Trump came back to Mar-a-Lago, he was still president. They never tell you this in the fake news media. Remember, he didn't go to this senile old coot Biden's inauguration. And I was there at Mar-a-Lago that day, made a YouTube video on it. And President Trump came back and he flew in on Air Force One. He was still president, okay? And I saw him the last 15 minutes of his first term. I was one of the last people to see President Trump in his first term, okay? So, yeah, come on. So everything he brought with him, he was still president. And he was welcome to have. And you know what? He still is.
He absolutely.
Because he still has top security clearance. But when they show these boxes on the stage at Mar-a-Lago, that's complete BS. Just about a stack about this high of documents are the number of documents that Jack Smith is saying that Trump doesn't have a right to have, which he does have a right to have, but that's being left out of all of these fake news stories. By the way, thanks for joining me on my stream. If you're new, subscribe, and everyone else, please like the video and click the notification bell so you know when I'm going to go live, because I go live all the time. Oh, man. So Jack Kirby over on CNN, this guy to me is a weirdo. He's just a weirdo. He's a retired U.S. Navy admiral who was the Pentagon spokesperson for a while, and to me, it just seems very strange to me that someone would leave being a United States naval admiral to become a press secretary. That's almost like a girl's job. It's just so strange. And what's strange about it is a lot of things, but one of them is, when you're an admiral like Kirby was, even if you're a one-star admiral, when you walk into a room, everyone stands up. I mean, it's a big deal. And now you become a press secretary. That's just such a strange downgrade of status, isn't it? Isn't it weird? And he's so damn creepy too, Kirby. You know, they brought him in to try to help Jean-Pierre because she sucks. But he sucks too. But listen to this.
He absolutely, I'm not going to get into debating each of these amendments, but I do want to make this point. He absolutely believes that diversity and inclusion and equity in the United States military is important.
Okay, equity and inclusion in the military is important. They're not talking about gender or racial integration of the military, which was done decades ago. What they're talking about is the Republicans standing up against all this transgender stuff in the military. And here we've got this gangster, corrupt administration leading us into an illegal war. The cluster bombs arrived in Ukraine, right? So the cluster bombs arrived in Ukraine, which the Biden White House said a year ago that the use of cluster bombs is a war crime. So even a year ago they said that cluster bombs are war criminal weapons. We've now sent the first batch, mind you, of these war crime weapons. Does that make us war criminals? By the Biden White House standards, it certainly would. But when we have them taking us into a war situation, you know, when you're going into a warlike situation, you need to have a tough military that scares the hell out of people. And you're not going to scare people if you got Tootsie out there. You understand what I mean? That's just not the image of the United States military that's going to frighten the enemy. You need a Marine Corps and an army of soldiers that scares the living hell out of the enemy. And what they're proposing actually endangers our service personnel because, well, they're not scared by that. In fact, it weakens us, and it shows that what we're putting forth in our military is not military readiness and the ability to win on the field of battle, but we're into wokeness and transitional procedures and everything, and that's destructive. It endangers. You know, you need the opposite. Now, I'm not supporting war with Russia. I don't believe Russia is our enemy. We defeated the Nazis with the Russians. You know, you know how many Russians sacrificed so that we could win the Second World War? You know, the Second World War would have gone on for many years longer if we didn't have the Russians on the Eastern Front. You know, and the Russians, we were allied with them, and we did a great thing. We freed the world of Nazism. Now all of a sudden they're our enemy. Please, it's a bunch of BS. But you know, so I don't support any war with Russia. We shouldn't even be there. I want to be clear about that. But if we went to war, how afraid would the Russians be if we're more concerned about gender transitional procedures with our military and our combat soldiers and Marines than we are actual, like, winning in battle, you know? So Ron DeSantis, his career is pretty much over, and he did something so foolish. He went to a Dairy Queen like the president. Now let's watch President Trump. Look at this. I mean, look at this. This is the wall of the Secret Service. These are the great MAGA people here.
Guy, 45, I like that guy. Trump. I can match that. Look at that, 45, 47.
Oh, man, if I got a Blizzard from Donald Trump that he bought and had his hand on, you know what I would do with that Blizzard? I would take it home and freeze it and keep it. I'd put it in my freezer, and I'd keep that Trump Dairy Queen Blizzard for ever. Wouldn't you guys? Would you eat the ice cream that Trump gave you, or would you save it? But I mean, you can see there's a massive crowd. Look at that. The love of the people.
Hey Trump, I'm one of your interns.
Oh, good. I like that. I like that. Oh, look at this. I want this one.
Oh, man.
With the news, the media?
Look at this. I mean, it's a madhouse in there.
Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Miller. We love you. Thank you.
We love you. Did you hear that guy? We love you.
Come on over here. Come on. So thank you very much. Here's some spoon treats. Here, darling.
Oh my goodness, he's handing out Trump spoons.
We need you back in office. Country's going to hell.
Okay, so you see that. Everyone's yelling, we love you. He's giving him the blizzards and everything. It's amazing. Wall of Secret Service, the place is packed. And then my governor, this Benedict Arnold, Ron DeSantis, somehow he got the bright idea to go to a Dairy Queen on a campaign stop, and he's got the sweater vest out, which I'm not into that sweater vest look, guys. Are you guys in? Even when I was growing up in the 80s, I never had one of those Marty McFly jackets that were sleeveless. It's just so strange to me. But DeSantis, so he goes to Dairy Queen. Look at the difference.
A great governor here, and Governor Reynolds. She's done a fantastic job. She just had a huge victory signing she's going to sign today the hard.
You can hear a pin drop. I can hear the blizzard machine making the blizzard
bill, but she's done so much over so many different issues to make this one of the best governed states in the country. So I'm happy to support her efforts here and really hold her up as a great model for a lot of Republicans around the country.
You worry about Tim Scott?
I'm not worried about anything, man. We got a plan.
I mean, just between you and Trump right now?
Just dead. No energy. No one's there. He's got to speak over the blizzard blender maker, whatever it is back there. You see like two guys there, one or two people. This guy here laughing's probably on his staff next to him. I mean, just no energy, zero campaign. I mean, this is a campaign in name only. Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever. And I voted for this guy. I voted for him 4 times because I voted for him in the 2 primaries and the general elections. But, President Trump voted for Ron DeSantis too, He's a Floridian. I don't know if he voted for him in the last general or not. He might have already been on to him by that time. I don't know. But we did not. He was an undercover fake MAGA. He's a Benedict Arnold. His campaign is dead on arrival. And the longer he campaigns, the less popular he becomes. I mean, there is no... And look at this. Look at his campaign staff. His campaign staff couldn't even deliver people in there to make it look like there was a crowd for him. They don't even have... I mean, couldn't they put the staffers and their boyfriends and girlfriends behind him and make it look like they were like people that were there? They couldn't even do that because they don't have enough people around. So that is pathetic. But, Tucker has just been kicking a lot of ass here at this summit. So let me play this for you. This is really interesting. I paused it there by accident. Ron DeSantis with his serpent tongue out of his mouth. Oh my goodness. I didn't notice that before. It's just that's where the video starts. This clip, this is just where it starts with him with his tongue out of his mouth. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Looks like a snake, because he is. But anyway, Ron DeSantis, he was at this summit, and Ron DeSantis got a little lucky with Tucker, because he went, if he didn't go last, he was very close to last. And by the time DeSantis went up there, the internet had been melting down about Pence and Tim Scott and the humiliation and destruction that Tucker Carlson brought to those losers. And so he saw it before he went up there. In fact, when I was doing my live stream on Friday was when this interview was going on live. And I know, look at that. Look at the tongue there. How does that happen? Wow. He outed himself as fake MAGA, and now he's outed himself as a serpent. But so Ron DeSantis, though, got busted in a little bit of a lie.
So you inherit this message.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the call here first. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick in Baltimore. Let me rewind while you're talking. I'll just pause it on the still of Ron DeSantis with his tongue out of his mouth.
I see it. Yeah.
What's on your mind, Nick?
I got to tell you, I've been watching. I love these Saturday morning and Sunday morning.
Oh, thank you.
podcast. But I was watching the one from yesterday before you came on, and I got to tell you, that was excellent. And I hope you play that clip for Steve Kane Monday morning.
Which one? The Pence one?
Yeah. Where he doesn't care about the American people. That's amazing.
It is.
But I wanted to bring something else up. You talked about what's his name, Mark Levin, and I was watching Michael Savage. He's another one I'll never listen to again, because he did a live broadcast yesterday, and he turned against Trump again.
What? Savage?
He turned against.
What happened?
Yep. He said. He was praising DeSantis. He said Trump shouldn't knock DeSantis or Pence. He said that DeSantis was the future of the Republican Party, and he talked about Pence, and he said, "Well, how can I hate this guy? He had a copy of my book in his hand, and I autographed it."
Wow.
So Michael Savage is all about promoting himself.
Wow.
Doesn't
he have enough money? What is that energy drink company that his son started that Savage has all the money in? He's made like millions of dollars. Which one is it?
Is that Red Bull? I can't.
No, Monster. One of those big energy drinks. I can't remember which one. He's got all kinds of money, and what is it? Because DeSantis had his book.
No, Pence.
Oh, Pence.
He was praising Pence.
Michael Savage was praising Pence?
Yeah, and DeSantis. Go back. It's on YouTube unless he took it down.
Oh, my goodness.
As philosophical and as intellectual as Savage likes to come off, I swear I'll never listen to him again, because he's a phony. He's just like all these people in the media. I'm going to tell you something. Trump's going to win. All the stuff that they're doing, it's going to fall apart. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you, guys. There are people who reach out to me and tell me, you talk about Trump too much. You need to get off of that. And if you listen to me, Rich, I'm not counting Richie the bus driver, but I'm using him because you guys might have heard him when he called me on the radio yesterday. Richie's like, "Oh, you're bashing DeSantis too much," and all this stuff, and people tell me that all the time. I don't care. This snake right here with his serpent tongue sticking out of his mouth, Ron DeSantis, he fooled us all, and the only good thing this guy did was tip his hand and blow his cover so that we know that he's fake MAGA now. Because if he would have kept going like he was going, we wouldn't have known until after he got the nomination in 2028.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
Yeah.
He's corporate.
Well,
he's a corporate guy.
He is the perfect person for these deep staters, because he's not wealthy. He doesn't have a wealthy family. So he's made $1.25 million off the book, okay, that I threw in the garbage at the gas station when I did. I should have made a YouTube video of that. I was filling up my car and I tossed it. So pissed at this jerk. But he's the perfect one to bring into the fold that they can tempt him and his wife with the money, and that's what they're doing.
Well, that's what it's all about, Brian. It's all about money. All these people, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, all these people. This guy Perry Johnson is a real jerk. He looks like a used car salesman. And he's I like Trump. I'm like Trump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you get in there, the deep state boys will say, you do what we tell you. And, oh yes, okay.
Well, listen here. The thing about money, we all do what we do for. Listen. Everything what I do for a living is this on the radio, my podcast, my YouTube. It's okay to do things to earn a living, but if you're taking payoffs, if you're getting paid to be corrupted, like these guys are, this. But let me tell you, Ron DeSantis, he dreams of being like Biden. Biden is like his goal. Biden, when he went into politics, he wasn't wealthy. He went into it to make money and be a corrupt public official. And I predicted the other day that when this is all said and done, and DeSantis is out, and he's no longer governor, and he's unelectable forever, I predict that he and his wife will divorce. I think she will leave him because there's no future with this guy. And I'm really starting to question whether or not this is one of those arranged marriages like Barack and Michelle.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not alleging he's gay. I'm not alleging he's gay, but what I'm talking about is one of these couplings like the Clintons where they put people together to forward them in politics. Because he was recruited by the Bushes. Yes. He was recruited at Yale by the Bushes. He was the captain. DeSantis, it's in his book. He was the captain of the Yale baseball team. And George H.W. Bush, Bush the father, Bush 41, was also the captain of the Yale baseball team. And when he was on the baseball team, he met President Bush. And that's when they brought him into the fold. So everything from him till... And I always thought it was... He went to Harvard and Yale, I believe, Ron DeSantis. And I thought, wow, he went to Harvard and Yale, and he's conservative? Well, not really.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I just want to say one other thing in conclusion here. I got to say this to you, and I'm not trying to, suck up to anybody, but I'll tell you what. When I first discovered you and Steve in, what was it, 2010, 2011? I can't remember now. When I first got the internet radio devices, and I was just experimenting with, you could punch up different cities, and it would bring up all the stations. And I listened to you guys. It was a Sunday night, and we were off. I worked for the government then, and we were off. It was Columbus Day. And I heard this show. It was a Sunday night, because there's nothing on the radio on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard your replay at that time, and then it ended at 3 a.m., and then it started again, and then it went into the morning show. I said, I got to keep listening to these guys. So I'm going to tell everybody, your radio show, there's so much information that comes out. I'm going to tell you something else. Trump's people are listening to you because they know you're there and they do listen. And they know you're the most loyal.
Oh, that's for sure. I'm MAGA for life, man. I'm MAGA for life.
Yeah, I think I am too, because he's the only one that really can pull this country back up to where it should be.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate your programming.
Well, I appreciate you and your support, Nick. It means a lot to me.
All righty. We have a great weekend.
All right. Take care.
Great callers. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
William Livingston, by the way, thanks for that $10 super chat. He says DeSantis is doing that Michael Jordan hanging of the tongue out. Michael, I don't know. I know who Michael Jordan is, but I don't follow his career that closely. He does a thing with his tongue. All right, so let's get to this. Now, DeSantis got busted in a bit of a lie involving Putin and Ukraine. And, of course, this is from Tucker's incredible event yesterday.
So you inherit this mess a year and a half from now, say, and let's just say it's static. It's where it is right now. What do you do about it? How do you act?
One, Europe needs to do more. This is their backyard. We have NATO countries that don't produce support for their own defenses, and we're supposed to do it, and we're taking away weapons and ammo that could go to respond to contingencies overseas. So we would do more in terms of the Pacific.
Okay, so now you notice, now there's more I'm going to get to, but you notice nowhere does...
Just watch. I'll tell you this.
Nowhere does Ron DeSantis talk about ending the war. What he's talking about is an expansion of the war between Ukraine and Russia. So this goes right back to who he's in bed with, which is the military-industrial complex. Nothing about ending the war. He's talking about expanding the war to more nations. What the hell, Ron DeSantis? So now listen to this. Now this is amazing. Somebody put this together, and whoever put this together deserves a lot of credit. I don't know who did it.
The spring, you described the war in Ukraine as a, quote, territorial dispute. You issued a statement saying it was a territorial dispute that was not central to America's national interest. There was an outcry over this, and then pretty soon after you seemed to change your view and describe Putin as a war criminal and say that it was central to America's foreign policy. Why did you change, and where are you now?
So the last part I did not say.
Okay, so remember that? The last part I did not say, right?
The spring, you described the war in Ukraine as a, quote, territorial dispute. You issued a statement saying it was a territorial dispute that was not central to America's national interest. There was an outcry over this, and then pretty soon after you seemed to change your view and describe Putin as a war criminal and say that it was central to America's foreign policy. Why did you change, and where are you now?
So the last part I did not say.
There is a move now to hold him accountable for war crimes, bombing maternity hospitals, and genocidal activity in parts of Ukraine, wiping out whole cities, Mariupol and others. Would you support that?
I mean, I think he is a war criminal.
And describe Putin as a war criminal and say that it was central to America's foreign policy. Why did you change, and where are you now?
So the last part I did not say.
I mean, I think he is a war criminal.
Wow.
He is a war criminal.
He is a war criminal.
Wow. I mean, that is just, now what do you think? Is he lying, or did he not remember? Whatever it is, it's not good. It's not good. Ron DeSantis is just awful. I mean, he's just awful. But again, he outed himself. Oh, man. Now, listen, guys, if you would like to support my content, a great way to do that is to go to mypillow.com and buy something with my promo code Kane. The MyPillow mattresses, these are the actual mattresses, not the mattress topper. Look at this. If you need a new mattress, look at this. Mike Lindell is offering all of his mattresses. He has coil mattresses, foam mattresses, and mattresses in every size there is. 50% off all mattresses and free shipping with my promo code Kane at checkout. All right, 50% off all mattresses and free shipping with my promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com. So if you need a new mattress, now is the time. But whatever special you see at mypillow.com, you can take advantage of with my promo code Kane. No matter what it says, Kane. And when you do that, of course, you are supporting all of my content, my YouTube channel here, my podcast with my wife, Kathy, the radio show, whatever the special says, you can use my promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout and take advantage of it. There's just incredible deals. 50% off the children's Bible story pillows, which are beautiful. You see these, they're spectacular. So go to mypillow.com, buy something. And you can also use my promo code Kane, Kane, at Mike Lindell's My Store. And right now they're offering 50% off all of Mike Lindell's My Coffee with my promo code Kane. But this mattress sale, I don't talk about the mattresses too often because they've never had a special like this on them. 50% off all mattresses and free shipping with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right, guys, and I would appreciate that. This world we're in is a strange world. And I wanted to share this with you. What's going on with millennials and Gen Z today, our birth rate is low. The growth of the illegal population is growing faster than our birth rate. And our birth rate is so low in this country because there's so many confusing things that are going on with those that are of the childbearing years. There's all these genders, half are gay, and, people of childbearing years just don't have sex anymore, at least not the kind that results in a pregnancy, and that's a problem because, we have to grow as a species and as a nation, our population. And this is a very strange one. I'm not going to explain it. I'll just play it. It explains itself, but this is so sad that this woman is going public with what she's about to go public with, and she doesn't even realize how destructive and how terrible that this is.
My husband is currently on a date with another woman.
Okay, now when I saw this on my Twitter feed, my husband is clearly, he's on a date with another woman right now. She says, my husband is on a date with another woman right now. And I saw that in my feed. Let me take this call. Hey there, caller. Hold on for a second. I saw this in my feed, and I was like, oh, wow. She caught her husband cheating on her. This will be an interesting video. Hold on, caller. I'll be right with you. She's going to leave her husband because he's out with another woman. Listen to this.
My husband is currently on a date with another woman, so clearly he's going to leave me for her, and my marriage is done, and my life is over.
See, right there, that sounds like normal, right? Although she's not very upset, that sounds normal, right? Well, watch.
Except for the fact that I'm non-monogamous, and so this is the first time, and nor will it be the last.
Wow.
And Danielle, I've been open for about 13 years. I was just talking to someone who recently opened up her relationship, and her husband's going to be away for the weekend for the first time with someone else, and what were my recommendations for her? Because she was terrified about how she was going to feel about her husband being physically and emotionally with someone else. My advice to her was to do something for herself, something that felt indulgent, that she would really enjoy, and maybe something that her husband wouldn't enjoy that much with her. The other piece of advice to her was to not go on a date, because a date might be distracting, but at the same time, it doesn't let you really process the emotions that you're feeling in that situation. Because I think when your husband is on a date with someone else, it's pretty human to feel a lot of emotions: jealousy, anger, confusion, frustration, excitement, joy for him. I used to always take myself out to Chinese food, not like takeout Chinese food, like really fancy Chinese food.
So if your husband's out with another woman, go out for Chinese food, but make sure it's fancy and everything's fine. That is really sad. Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Lisa from Florida.
Hey, Lisa, what's up?
You're right. I'm so disgusted with the governor. We all fell in. We all voted for that jerk.
Oh, yeah, DeSantis.
Very disappointed.
Well,
and I'm in a
I'll tell you, the reason I play that video, this is why I play that video. I feel as betrayed as she should feel, right? As betrayed as I feel by DeSantis for what he's done, that's how that woman should be feeling.
Yeah, it ticks me off. He didn't do anything with it. I live in where all the damage at Ian. I'm still have a tarp on my roof.
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
Insurance hasn't done. Yeah, my insurance hasn't done squat. I have to take them legally, and it's just he didn't do anything. Big deal. So he fixed that dumb Sanibel bridge. Whoop-de-doo. Right now, you should see everybody. Most people are you're right. I was listening yesterday. Most people are dropping their insurance because it went up. Now here, our insurance, I don't know if it's about the same, but it's like $6,000, $8,000, $9,000.
Well, what the caller's talking about, see, here in Florida,
and it used to be like 3 or 4.
Yeah, here in Florida, our homeowners insurance has risen to astronomical levels and doubled for a lot of people, and my insurance has gone through the roof. And you may have seen stories about homeowners insurance companies like Farmers for have left the state of Florida. And Ron DeSantis is doing nothing about this. And a lot of people are dropping their homeowners insurance. If your home is paid for, you don't need to have insurance by law. You have to have it if your home is mortgaged, the banks require it.
Mortgage, yeah.
And my mother, her home is paid for, and she's thinking about letting hers go because she's like, it's so expensive. It's not even like insurance. I'd have to have a total loss of the house maybe, but it's short of that. So DeSantis, really, we're in hurricane season. And at some point this year, next year, we get hit by a big storm. We're going to find a lot of people are uninsured because they can't afford the policies. And DeSantis is doing nothing about it because he's running for president.
No, I know that. Yeah, what makes me sick is that you're right. He said he wasn't going to run, and he got brainwashed. Boy, he got brainwashed really on those stupid
DeSantis?
donors. And now they want to. Yeah.
He didn't get brainwashed. He got bought off. In fact, I don't think he was never with us. He was never with us. He was only pretending to be MAGA the whole time.
Scumbag. It really ticks me off. And people think that, you know what, the thing I don't like about every time he goes on somebody's show, they give him softball questions. Nobody, even Tucker didn't do nothing. Yeah, he put the screws a little bit to Pence and that Asa guy, and he's an idiot anyway. But
yeah, I watched the Tucker interview. I think when it comes, and I was a little surprised because Tucker does live in Florida, but I don't really think he understands what's going on in Florida enough to hit him hard with questions.
No, because they're all in the bubble, these rich people. But I mean, I was surprised. I thought every time he goes for an interview, Hannity always kisses his butt. But I'm like, every time he goes for an interview,
well, Hannity likes to talk. Hannity likes to do softball interviews with Mike Pence. So what do you know?
Oh, Mike Pence, what a joke! It's a money grab for him too. I mean, he stinks.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why Trump had. Why did Trump have him anyway as VP?
President Trump, I think, is doing another. I think Trump is doing another Fox town hall with Hannity.
Yeah, I don't think he should do the debate either, and not because everybody said, he should do it because because all they're gonna do is Trump bash him, and he has that. You're right, his polls are so high. Why do it? Why put him so? I mean, Fat Boy, all he wants to do is knock Trump, and it's his
Fat
fault.
Boy, who's that? Chris Christie.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he's the one who encouraged him to hire Christopher Wray. You know, so that's
well.
all his
I think
fault,
this
but
is going to
Bill
be
Barr-
I think this is going to be the first presidential election of the modern era where there's no debates. I don't think Trump is going to debate Biden, and there may not be any primary debates with President Trump. I mean, think about it. They got next month. Next month is the first Republican presidential debate. It's on Fox with that jerk Brett Baer and Martha McCallum, who is more concerned about trying to hide her neck because her neck gives away her age. They're going to have a presidential Republican primary debate without Trump. I mean, that's like a joke. How's that even a debate? Who's going to watch that?
Yeah, and it's all bashing. I can't wait. You know, DeSantis, you're right. He is bad at debates. I saw his debate against that goofball Chris.
Oh, he's awful.
You know,
he's awful in debates.
You know, and I think Byron Donalds, he takes him everywhere he goes. He took him to Philadelphia. I think Byron Donalds will probably, this is what I think, he could actually just move to another state. What do you have to be a citizen? A resident, 6 months, 3 months in another state? I really like him.
You know, you can't have the top and bottom of the ticket from the same state. Byron Donalds lives in Florida. And, you know, Congress, you don't have, that's, I don't think that's going to happen. It's not going to be Byron Donalds.
I don't want it to be a
there's no way to guess who he's going to pick, but whoever he picks, I think is going to shock us. It's going to be someone where it's not going to be Carrie Lake.
No, I don't want her either. I really like her, but she's too, she already has that anti-Trump thing to her. You know, she's very polarizing. I don't like Tulsi. I don't think he should pick a woman at all. I would go if it was me and I'm a female. I think he should pick a black guy and not Pence.
A black guy?
I think. How about? Yeah, a young. Yeah, that's more not so that could get people over from the other. You know, or I gotta admit that I like that. What's his name?
Vivek Ramaswamy. Well, listen, Ramaswamy says all the right things, but we don't know anything about this guy. So don't be Mark. There's been a lot of people like Ron DeSantis who said all the right things. Vivek Ramaswamy seems okay, and I haven't heard him say anything that wasn't spot on. But we don't know anything about this guy, so you got to be very careful throwing somebody this kind of power and influence when we know nothing about them. He may be perfect, but I don't know.
How about the guy who's running for governor? He's a lieutenant governor of North Carolina, the big, heavy-set black guy. He looks pretty good, too.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about. Hey, listen, I'm going to run, but thanks for the call.
Yeah.
All right, take care. Take care. By the way, William Livingston, another $10 super chat. Thanks so much. He says, DeSantis, how about cutting the funds for Ukraine and deal with the U.S. border? Well, if they cut the funds from Ukraine, they can't steal the money. Now, are any of you guys familiar with the Young Turks? A lot of you probably are. Some of you may not be. The Young Turks is the /1 liberal content here on YouTube. They're very well known. They're also on television, and they've been around for a long, long time, and they are as liberal gets. In fact, when it comes to news and politics and all the issues, they're the liberal show of record on YouTube and a lot of other platforms. And the top woman on the Young Turks that's not getting a lot of coverage has left, Anna Kasparian. Anna Kasparian here, very liberal. She is an extremely liberal person. She was the main woman on the Young Turks for many, many years, and she's left. And the reason she left is over these puberty blockers. And it's not getting a lot of attention. And it didn't just happen yesterday either. And this is a very interesting story because she not only is she as liberal as it gets, she's on the #1 liberal online platform there is, the Young Turks, and she's walked away over this. Now, she still claims, I don't know if I'm still a Democrat, I'm still progressive. She's in this transitional period. She hasn't, flipped and said, I'm a Republican or I'm MAGA or anything, but she has walked away from an incredibly prominent liberal job all over the puberty blocker stuff. And that really shows you how divisive that entire issue and concept is when it comes even to the most liberal of liberal people. And the obsession with that issue that the Democrats have, if it's gotten this progressive left-wing lady to leave such a prominent position in liberal land, okay, imagine what kind of, and she's walking away from a lot of money too, money and prestige, losing all her friends, calling her homophobe, transphobe, and all these things. You know, I mean, what she's going through is pretty interesting and amazing that she did this. For her to walk away and walk away from everything she's had and all her friends for that, that's got to have a major impact on the whole Democrat liberal movement as a whole nationwide, and it's pretty amazing. And I'm going to keep following that as there are developments in it, but that's a good thing. Now, look at this, New Hampshire, Donald Trump maintaining a 37-point lead over DeSantis in New Hampshire. And, you know, I often say I don't follow polls too much, but you look at the trend. You look at the trend with the polls, and Donald Trump's beating everyone in every poll, including Joe Biden. Okay, we got to get through the Republican primary process first, but 37 points in New Hampshire. He's way ahead in Iowa. I don't have the latest in Iowa in front of me, but he's also way ahead in Iowa. So New Hampshire and Iowa, those are the big, they call them the bellwethers. And DeSantis has some fantasy where he's going to come in and win maybe one of them, right? New Hampshire, Iowa, or maybe South Carolina or something. And he thinks that if he wins one of them, it'll give him some momentum. I mean, he's done. And I'm not saying Trump's going to win every primary because the odds of that are that's a very difficult thing to do, especially what he's going up against with the Republican uniparty establishment. But you look at these polls, and it's a home run. Now, this is a story involving DeSantis. I don't know how much play this is going to get, but a DeSantis canvasser got caught on a doorbell camera. Listen to this. A member of a Ron DeSantis political action committee was caught using foul language and admitted to being high on marijuana as the Florida governor continues to trail Donald Trump in the polls. The video posted Friday afternoon shows a canvasser for Never Back Down PAC. That's the big DeSantis PAC in Charleston, attempting to hand out flyers for DeSantis. Hold on, guys. I got to take a drink here. And he's heard suggesting on the phone to an unknown caller that if the homeowner hypothetically told him, F you, get off my property, then I'd be like, F you, eat my blank. So here he is. Looks like, yeah, that's who DeSantis' PAC is hiring. Looks more like Antifa, doesn't he? Yeah, now let's watch the video. Let's see if there's a commercial I got to watch first. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let's wait till the commercial's over, and then I'll play you the video. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. It's a live stream, so we're live. Yeah, okay. They're making me watch the whole thing, too. The suspense. Okay, so let me pull it up. All right, so here we go. This is the DeSantis canvasser. And I know some people will say, well, what can he do about his canvasser? Well, if this were a Trump canvasser, if this was a MAGA hat-wearing canvasser, well, it'd be all over the news. And you notice, whenever you see DeSantis people, there are no MAGA hats. So they're not. That tells us that DeSantis' people are not MAGA, or they'd be wearing MAGA hats.
They're like, get off my lawn. Then I'd be like, yo, eat my balls, honestly.
Class act.
My big, hairy sack.
Wow.
I'm a little stoned, so I don't really care.
Class act. They're hiring only the best on the DeSantis team. But I think it's interesting because if you go to any Trump events or you see any Trump people, they have MAGA gear on. And none of the DeSantis people do, which shows that they were never MAGA. Now, this next clip I'm going to play, a disclaimer and an apology at the same time. This clip is, well, it's from The View. And so trigger warning, it's from The View. Now, I want to apologize for playing a clip from the Coven of The View here. So they're talking about the cocaine found at the White House that President Trump has said on numerous occasions, including Thursday in a live interview that the cocaine is Joe Biden's. That's what President Trump has been saying. And over at The View, they believe that a Republican may have actually planted the cocaine at the White House, that Republicans have gotten into the Biden White House and planted cocaine. I'm not kidding. Watch.
People in those positions cannot be doing drugs. Our adversaries could exploit it. It's not a small deal.
So
I don't think they're going to get to the bottom of it.
That's the thing. It's like cocaine gate. We don't know who did this.
Oh, my goodness. If you have a cocaine head, a coke addict in your family, and you find cocaine in the house that you live in, your first thought is, it's the cocaine addict, right? Not at The View. You go to Hunter.
People in those positions cannot be doing drugs. Our adversaries could exploit it. It's not a small deal. I don't think they're going to get to the bottom of it.
That's the thing. It's like cocaine gate. We don't know who did this. I'm thinking maybe it's a tourist, a stupid tourist.
A tourist. By the way, they say they've had two different stories. First, they said it was in the library in the residence. Now in a cubby next to the Situation Room. Tourists do not go to the Situation Room. Okay, Sonny?
Yes, somebody like that, and you've got to put your phone there. You've got to put your bags there. You got to put stuff there, and so somebody just,
who brings their cocaine to the White House?
They left their. Wait, I want to.
Joe and Hunter Biden. That's who brings their cocaine to the White House.
They left their stash.
Let's show. So is this more fodder for the Republican machine, conspiracy machine?
No matter what the answer would have been,
Now keep in mind, Anna Navarro is supposed to be a Republican. Right? She's one of the Republican ladies in the Coven of the View.
No matter what the answer would have been, they were always going to blame Hunter Biden. As I said before, and I'm going to continue saying, we're going to see it for the next year.
Watch this.
They are weaponizing Hunter Biden against his dad as an effective tool to get his dad.
Hold on, caller. I'll be right with you.
To lose his cool and to get his dad to, feel the heartache. They're going to weaponize Hunter Biden. It has nothing to do with Hunter Biden, but you can hear that said 100 times. And people who want to believe it are still going to believe that. Well, okay. And there's people who might believe that it was planted for somebody so that then they could advance the Hunter Biden narrative.
Hold on, caller. I'll be right with you.
Who knows? So the bottom line is there are no answers.
Okay, so it may, courtesy of Newsbusters, so over at The View, it may have been planted, the cocaine, by Republicans to jam up Joe and to weaponize Hunter against Pops. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Elaine Macco.
Hey, Elaine, what's up?
Why do you keep telling your audience that Trump's got a security clearance? He no longer has one.
That's not true.
It was removed when he left. No, it is.
No, it's not. It's not true. It's not true.
Look it up.
And all former presidents maintain. They maintain top secret security clearance.
But his was revoked.
No, it was not.
He no longer has. It was. Look it up.
It was not. It was not.
Don't believe. Look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up.
Was not. It was not. In fact, if to give you proof of that it wasn't revoked, if it was revoked, that would be part of the headline with every one of these document stories. He doesn't even have a security clearance anymore. It was revoked. Okay, I've not heard that in one story. Yes, he does.
Well, then then look it up.
I don't have to look it up. I know. I know.
Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't.
What is your beef with Trump?
You don't know.
What is your beef with Trump?
Because he's a danger to this country.
What's his? Really? Why is he dangerous? Making America great again is dangerous?
Oh, I think January 6th was a perfect example of why.
Well, it's interesting you say that because the January 6th committee that was headed up by Democrats and traitor Republicans like Liz Cheney, their findings were that President Trump had no role in January 6th.
Oh, that is such bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit. It's true. It's true.
He's going to be in.
But slow down. But he's already been indicted twice. So you didn't like Trump before January 6th. So taking January 6th off the table, why did you not like him before that? Remind you of your ex-husband or something? Before January 6th, why didn't you like him?
No, because he tore children away from their parents.
Tell me about
border.
that. Tell me about that.
It's under the Trump family separation plan.
They didn't separate.
Look up the Trump. Yes, he did.
I've never heard an old lady like
Look
you
up
use
the-
the F word before. He did not
I didn't use the F word.
You started to.
I didn't use
You started
the F-
to.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay. He did not remove children from their parents.
Okay. Oh, okay, Brian. Look up the
I'm going to
Trump
tell you what he
family
did.
separation.
See, I know
No,
the.
look it up.
Listen, I'm not your
It's a-
husband. Don't
it's a
talk to
tr-
me that way.
it's-
Listen,
It's
this is
Trump-
what he did.
It's a Trump.
I'm going to
it's a
explain
Trump
to you.
policy.
Listen, I'm going to
It's a
tell you what he
Trump
did.
Policy.
And no,
It's a
it's not.
written document.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you what Trump did.
God, you're so ignorant. You're so ignorant.
Yes.
You are willfully ignorant.
Yes. This is what Trump did. She hung up, guys. She hung up. Oh my goodness. Well, it's 11 a.m. here on the East Coast. The liquor stores are open. She must be on the East Coast. She hung up, unfortunately. What President Trump did was not remove children from their parents, okay? When people come across the border that are undocumented, okay, they have no documents. They don't tell us who they are. They don't have any passports. The children with them have no documents. They're undocumented. So what President Trump did, which, by the way, is a policy that Barack Obama had, what they did is they separated children from adults who claimed to be their parents so that they could interview the children and also do DNA testing to determine whether or not these children were actually the children of the adults bringing them across the border. If they determined through their investigation that they were the children of the adult, they would be reunited. If not, there would be further investigation to find out if there's some child trafficking or sex trafficking going on. So what President Trump's policy, which was very similar to the Obama-Biden policy, was to protect children. Unfortunately, the lady hung up. I did not hang up on her, and you don't have to agree with me to call me on the air. I love talking to people who disagree with me or who are uninformed, like the last caller, so that we can address these issues and set the record straight. But the reason she hung up, you know why she hung up? I'll tell you why she hung up on me. She knows I'm right, and she doesn't want to be exposed to the truth. She's got her hands over here. La, 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 I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. La, 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 la. Let me hang up the phone so I don't have to hear the truth, because she wants to hate on the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And everyone, like the video and click that notification bell so that you get a notification when I go live. I got another video here of a very sad and lonely looking Ron DeSantis at the Dairy Queen. What do you guys think about the sweater vest thing? That's just not me. But we got some more video here. Here is... I know. Here's DeSantis. He's going into a Dairy Queen alone.
I know. You got it when you're here. You got to do a Dairy Queen, and I appreciate Senator Grassley setting that. I've known what blizzards are for a long time. It's a really important part, and I'm happy to do it. Let's go.
Okay, he knows what a blizzard is. President Trump didn't when he went to Dairy Queen, so let's just make him president of the United States. He's heard of a blizzard. Oh, my goodness. I know what, I've heard of blizzards, okay, but I didn't know if that's Dairy Queen or Carvel, and I really don't know what makes a blizzard a blizzard. I guess I'm not qualified either, but Ron DeSantis knows what a blizzard is. So let's make this jerk president. Anyway, let's go through this. It says here, Ron DeSantis appeared to take a page out of Trump's campaign playbook Friday with a visit to a Dairy Queen in Des Moines, Iowa, wearing a sweater vest. However, unlike Trump's rallies, which drew large crowds, DeSantis' stop at the ice cream chain drew a muted response. That's putting it kindly. In an attempt to connect with Iowa voters, DeSantis visited the Dairy Queen in Des Moines, ordered a Blizzard ice cream treat, and answered questions from a few journalists that were present. His visit seemed a clear nod to Trump tradition. The only difference is the house is packed when Trump shows up. He says, when you're here, you got to do a Dairy Queen, he says. Really? Is that anyone in Iowa? Is that a thing? When you go to Iowa, you got to do a Dairy Queen? Oh, my goodness. How fake. Unlike Trump's event, which was flooded with fans and onlookers, DeSantis' visit saw a sparse crowd and a lack of the fanfare that Trump had there, of course. Yeah, there we go. Here he is, and here he is inside with that.
Hey, Governor, is this still just between you and Trump right now, you think?
Look at this. The people that work there don't even give a damn. They could care less that he's here. They're probably, who is this guy? And he even looks uncomfortable. Like, I'm here and there's no one here.
Just watch. Just watch. I'll tell you this, being in Iowa, we really should be thankful as Republicans that they have such a great governor here, and Governor Reynolds. She's done a fantastic job. She just had a huge victory signing she's going to sign today, the heartbeat bill. But she's done so much over so many different issues to make this one of the best governed states in the country. So I'm happy to support her efforts here and really hold her up as a great model for a lot of Republicans around the country.
You worry about Tim Scott?
I'm not worried about anything, man. We got it.
Now, are you worried that you're standing in a Dairy Queen and there's no one there to greet you and you're all alone? And even the employees don't seem to care, as opposed to President Trump at the Dairy Queen? Look at it. Now, this is look at this. Now, look at this. DeSantis is there. I don't. And they're making ice cream here. I'm not hearing the blender. Look at the press over here. Look at the crowd. The wall of the Secret Service. Hold on. I lost the internet. There we go.
Is the fake news having a good time?
Is the fake news having a good time?
I hope you like the speech. A lot of passion. A lot of passion. We want to see our country brought back. And our country is not doing well, but it will be doing well again very soon.
We love you, Trump! We love you!
Thank you, everybody.
Do you hear the blenders like you could with DeSantis?
Good team, right? Good coach. They've got a good coach. You're our president, Mr. Trump. Love you. Anybody want one? Here, I'll give one to ABC News. Is ABC News one? ABC fake news.
ABC fake news, what? Oh, my goodness.
We're bringing them back to the train. Bringing them back.
Oh, man.
Anybody want one back there with the
DeSantis didn't even have anyone to give ice cream to.
I think they need. Thank you, guys. This guy, 45. I like that guy. Trump. Look at that, 45-47.
Oh, you gotta love it, don't you? Oh, man. Hey, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Jesse from Georgia.
Hey, Jesse in Georgia. What's up?
Oh, isn't it pathetic, DeSantis? I don't understand. How can you not like Trump? I don't get it. I'm a 50-some-year-old female, and every time he talks, I think it's great. I've never been insulted. I don't understand why women are insulted by him. I think he's funny as hell.
Yeah.
He's passionate. He wants America back. I mean, all I'm thinking, how many days do I have left? Do I can go vote for him? I mean, I want to see him in January 25.
You know what happened?
I can't take this Biden administration.
This is what happened with DeSantis. He thought Trump, when that Bragg Soros indictment came out of New York, which, by the way, they've shelved it. They said they're not even pursuing it any longer. That he thought Trump was going to go up there and get arrested and get a mugshot, and that all of us MAGA lovers of President Trump were going to abandon him, and he was going to be going to jail, and he was going to be the front runner. And he got excited, and he blew his cover because he came out. He had a press conference, and they were asked what he was going to do, if he was going to intervene, and he said no. He was going to let the process of the extradition to New York go forward, and a governor can launch an investigation to determine the validity of an extradition request from another state. He didn't do it. That's when he blew his cover, and we knew he was fake MAGA.
He's pathetic, though. I mean, he doesn't have anybody around. I didn't realize how bad. I used to watch him and see how he was at the press conferences on TV. He was all over, all over the state of Florida. He used to be good. It's like, what the hell happened to you, you bastard?
I'm almost embarrassed. What'd you say? What happened to you, you bastard? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm so pissed off at him.
Yeah.
Because I voted for that jerk, and I want to vote. I just want to vote it. If
Well,
he was
the thing about
that-
DeSantis, I almost am embarrassed for him. I almost feel embarrassed, but I'm not. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel embarrassed. I think the snake is getting what he deserves. Hey, thanks for the call. Wesley, $5 super chat. Thanks, Wesley. Good morning, Brian. DeSanctimonious seems to forget that Governor Reynolds supports the GOP frontrunner. What a clown Ron is. No doubt about that. Thanks, Wesley, for that super chat. Now, I did play this yesterday, but this is worthy of playing again before we go. This is Tucker Carlson kicking Pence's ass, exposing him. And Pence lost his cool here when he says he doesn't care about Americans.
Along the way, the Biden administration has been slow in providing military support. Make no mistake about this. We promised them 33 Abrams tanks.
Okay, now this really goes into Pence just not understanding his audience. You know, he has no idea. He's in this bubble of uniparty Republican establishment guys, and where they're all like, "Oh my God, Ukraine, we got our money. We're all getting our cut from the." And he doesn't realize that the Republican base are against this war in Ukraine, and we're on to the fact that it's a big money grab for the Republican and Democrat uniparty. So he's just out of touch with his audience, which is good.
In January, I heard again 2 weeks ago in Ukraine, they still don't have them. We've been telling them we'll train their F-16 pilots, but now they're saying maybe January we'll let somebody transfer some jets.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice President, have you, I know you're running for president. You are distressed that the Ukrainians don't have enough American tanks. Every city in the United States has become much worse over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Drive around. There's not one city that's gotten better in the United States. And it's visible. Our economy has degraded. The suicide rate has jumped. Public filth and disorder and crime have exponentially increased. And yet, your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
It's not my concern. That crime. You know, I watched a video on, do you guys know who Casey Neistat is? I watched a video with his brother Van Neistat. He's out in California in Venice Beach. And someone stole his bicycle, and it's a fancy, expensive bike that has a tracker built into it. And he found a homeless guy had his bike, you know, and it's a very expensive bike. He goes and gets the bike, and the homeless guy starts cutting the spokes with pliers. You know, if you're a crime victim, that's not his problem. It's not Pence's problem. His issue is Ukraine, and you know he's talking about all these Abrams tanks. Think about this. We left all that weaponry in Afghanistan, so we had to rebuy it for our forces, right? Now they're sending more of our equipment to Ukraine, so we got to buy that again. You know, all this business they're doing, the military-industrial complex, they are making more money now than if we were at all-out war because Biden just keeps giving all our equipment away to the Taliban, to Ukraine, so we have to keep buying and buying and buying because we have a military, too, that needs the tanks and everything else. But this right here, if you watch my stream before this one, which you should when this is over, I broke down the whole thing, and what happened with Tim Scott was really bad too. But this right here is one of the greatest moments in televised political history. We are seeing right here with this little exchange, Mike Pence, and we're seeing a presidential candidate's career end live. Look how pissed off Pence looks.
Exponentially increased, and yet your concern is that the Ukrainians, a country most people can't find on a map, who've received tens of billions of U.S. tax dollars, don't have enough tanks. I think it's a fair question to ask, like, where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
Wow, what a jerk. What a jerk. Hey, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Everyone, please like the video and click that notification bell so you get a notification when I go live here on YouTube. And anytime I'm live, I'm always taking live calls right here on the stream. And as you can see, I even talk to never-Trumpers and liberals. But this is where MAGA comes to talk. My name's Brian Craig. Thanks, everyone, for